Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, drum heads, wherever you may be. We're back for another episode of the Drum Score with Jace and Letty. Letty, how you going? Tell us what's happening, mate.
I'm getting on all right, Jason. Listen, just to kind of bring the karma down a wee bit,
Yep.
I've got to pass on my respects and my condolences to Mr. Eddie Waterfall's family. He passed away today. He's a friend of mine's, and he is a drumhead because he liked the show, and he also was a snare drummer. Known him for many years, and he'll be sorely missed. So the show's dedicated to him, but
Yep.
we're going to keep going with the show, and hopefully I'll get round to see his family pretty soon. But
For you, Eddie.
sorry for his loss. And moving completely juxtaposition to that, I got another shout out to Dangerous Brian. You want to hear this story?
Go on. The good-looking fella from up,
Mrs. Drumhead's
from up the road.
He's a model, isn't he? He's like, he was one of these kind of young model guys. He doesn't date anymore. Anyway, right, listen, so this is mad, right? So I get told off Mrs. Drumhead that he's thinking about moving to Airdrie, right?
Was that like France or something?
And I'm like, no. Like no, it's not. It's like more central in the Central Belt. And I just thought, that can't be right. I've been in his flat. It's a nice wee flat he's got in Hamilton. So here's a message for Dangerous.
What address was that? You want to tell him?
Don't even think about moving from Hamilton to Airdrie, right? That's not happening, mate. That's a bonkers move. No, I'm not hearing it. I think there's a lady friend involved. I think that's maybe spurring it on.
Oh, that would do it.
But
yeah,
he can get in touch with me and say, no, it's not true, Lairdy. This is fake news. But I want to know what's happening there. So Dangerous, get back to me. I'm fearful for you. Right. Next shout out, Jason Rennie, right? Jason Rennie texted us wanting a t-shirt. Quite a few people have got t-shirts. And I know that he'll be feeling kind of left out his core.
Oh.
Because Livingston, Caledonia.
Oh, they're all rocking
quite a few of them have got a Drum Score t-shirt. The blue one, not the black one, the blue one. I think one of them's got a black one.
Good looking band, that.
But the blue one. And well, obviously if they're wearing a t-shirt. So they get some in them, and Jason Rennie's feeling left out. But the weird thing is I don't have extra large sizes. I don't think they're there. I think I've got the best I've got is large, and he was wanting an extra large. So I know stupidly we're kind of out of extra large, which is probably the most prolific size that folk would need.
You're going to need to doing some push-ups, or you're going to have to wait till Christmas.
I'm going on a mad diet. Right, I'd like to get a shout out. Waiting in the flight coming back for Dublin, right? That's a whole show, right? Just bemoaning the fact of Dublin Airport.
The saga of Dublin.
Just the whole thing about it, right? Aye. Dublin Airport has worked us into an app where you cannot get to sleep in the airport, right?
Don't even think about it.
Well done, Dublin Airport. I see where you're going there, punishing the passenger, making them have to pay for a hotel, even though you're going to be there for roughly about 4 hours. But bravo, you guys. You have nailed that. So I'm standing in the tarmac. Clever. Yeah, making it a real horrific experience. Standing in the tarmac, and this guy comes up to me, right? And I recognised him for the contest the day before, but I don't know him. So the guy for the City of Dunedin Pipe Band that comes for the Kingdom of Fife, we salute you. Well done, B-Man. And hopefully we'll see him at the Scottish, which is next at the end of the month. And I'd like to give a big shout out to the Black Raven. Black Raven Pipe Band. The social media, the imagery, it's banging. So I met with a guy there. I think his name is Christy. And so he gave me a keyring, right? But he gave me one. I gave him two. I thought, I'll give you two. If a man asks you to walk a mile, walk two. I was like, there you go. Two.
You have to pay respects to the Raven.
Oh, listen, I think it's great part. It's honestly great part.
That's great.
And also, what else I remember about t-shirts? By the way, well done, Elizabeth Shaw, for rocking the t-shirt on your tutorial.
So good. Saw that and I just broke down in tears.
I thought it was great. I thought it was as good as her stickers, because I've got a sticker on the back of my pad and I've got a sticker on the back. Look, let it say, look, genuine. Look, that's what it is.
It was popping. It was next level.
Anyway, we done European in Perth. went to that. Listen, there's a lot of traction on the social medias. I don't know if anybody's noticed, right? But I think a lot of people are in agreement with me that the prize giving is far too long, right?
Okay,
It's a long day.
Yeah.
Everybody's been G'd up. So there's two cohort, there's two folk here, right?
Mhm.
There's the performer or the competitor, right? And there's the friends and family, right? And then tertiary to that, or on the periphery, is the kind of casual bystander person who goes, "Oh, I hear pipe music, and I'll go and have a wee wander about," right?
Yeah.
I don't know who the events type guy that says, like, it'd be good to do this and to do that, right? So when I went to the one at Perth, we're standing there waiting, and it felt like an age. Now, people are obviously, I see about 6, 7 o'clock at night. People have got trains to catch, buses to get, people to go and have a meal with, more important things going on in your life. And you're sitting there waiting for the prize giving, right? I've got a suggestion, right? Why do they not do this? We've got a big screen in the back, right? Grade 2, right?
Yep.
Up on the screen goes grade 2, and they go, the dramatic pause.
Drum roll.
First, McWackle and District Pipe Band, and everybody goes, "Way!" Best drum corps, McWackle and District Pipe Band. Way! And then they go, the runners up are, and it goes up on the big screen, second, third, fourth, fifth, and they go, second place, that, third place, this, that, fourth, fifth. Done. Up these come. And see, if you don't come up, it doesn't matter. The trophy just goes in a bag and it goes back to where the trophies come from, and then somebody can go and get them.
Yeah.
They're far too long. Let's just get to the chase. Who won? Bye.
Yeah.
Right, anyway,
so what do they do currently?
What
do they do currently? They read out for like top 6.
Right. So basically, they read, they go first, or sometimes they do it reverse order. But by and large,
you got to count down first thing, right?
So and so, right? And then they go, and then the guy walks up from the bands to get his trophy, right?
Okay.
Which maybe takes a couple of minutes. And then he gets his trophy, he stands on the stage, and he goes, "Hey," and the handshake, and by the way, the Z-list celebrity or whatever kind of half-baked politician, councillor guy that they've got up there that wants to tell the world how important he is or she is, that nobody can remember who the person is, who they actually are. Nobody cares. Yeah. Non-people. They're not, do you know what I mean? It's like not even a film star that you go, "I remember that guy." No. Some councillor that, "Jim, what are you doing on Saturday?" "Oh, nothing." "You want to go into that?" "Aye, all right." Or you might get the mayor or whatever. But by and large, nobody cares.
Yeah.
This is the 21st century. We're not interested. We're here to get the prizes. Well
get
done.
A podcast host
maybe
or
get a job in the council. Maybe me. Maybe I should do it. But I'll be rapid. So thank you, lucky stars. But that's what I mean. So you get too much twaddle at the start. I'd like to thank the organisers. I'd like to thank Mrs. McLaughlin for bringing in the prize. I'd like to thank... No, you know what, mate? We're all here. We're all waiting for the prizes. Get it done.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? Like Tombola, number 46. Oh, yeah, get on, mate.
Snake eyes.
And then, let him ride. And then I'm like, so, I'm getting lost in my nonsense. The bottom line is you're right. So it's too much pause, too much waiting for the prizes to be given out. You could get the second to the 6th prizes on a wanner in a wee line, have them in a wee line, go, well done. Bye, cheerio, see you next week. That's it.
Short and sweet is how they like it.
Honestly, it drives me insane.
That's events key.
Well, that's right. Listen, that's the way I like it. Do you know what? And imagine there's some people that go, "Oh, it'd be nice for the bands that obviously don't get first to get a wee bit." But listen, to be honest, you're getting your moment. You're getting read out as the runners up, and you're getting read out, and you're going to get a wee prize. My point is that if you add all this together, when we're talking about 4 grades, grade 3 Alpha, Bravo, actually 6 in it. So there's 6 prize lists to be read out.
Yeah.
So it can become quite wordy and lengthy. It doesn't need to be. I don't think it would take anything away from it.
You let's
try and work hard at that, people.
You have to get people up there collecting prizes and reading out the next one basically at the same time as well. So just continuous train. So
on a continuous train.
On a continuous train, it's around about that time we introduce our guest. He was an early guest and a big friend of the show, Needs no
one of
introduction,
the
really.
first. No, he's
One
a
of
big
the
fish.
first big fish in the old drum and scene. So if you don't know him, you better get to know him. Here he is, Mr. Big Stephen Creighton. Stevie, welcome back to the show, mate. It's been a while, but since you've been on, and you've been one of our original guests, way back down in season 3, episode 5, I think it was, maybe a year or
Yeah, it
so
was.
ago. So nice
One
to have you
early
back,
Saturday morning. Yeah. You too. Good to see you, Jay.
Can I just say something else, Stephen? This I've had a wee kind of funny thing about, you know, that there's a podcast called Piping Club or something like that. Piping Club.
Oh yeah,
Piping Club, right? And I've noticed that they make their guests wear their T-shirt when they come on the show. So I seen a guy called Stuart Sampson. He's a kind of, you know, one of these kind of shirt and tie guys, piper guy, right? Quite famous, quite good, a very good piper, right? A piper of distinction type thing. And he wears the kind of shirt and tie and all that. And the worst thing I ever seen in my life was they made him wear the T-shirt, or they obviously kind of presented him with a T-shirt, and he wore the T-shirt over the top of the shirt. And I just thought, I will never ask MD in my life to come on and wear one of the T-shirts. You know what I mean? But and it's good to see you rocking the original Gangster, man.
Well, that's it. You got the OG T-shirt, man. Collector's edition.
Well, I wear it in a few places, and when I'm away on the weekend to bands, I wear it, and people say, "Hey, I should get the T-shirt." And then I turn around and it says Drumhead on the back. So, and they'll be going, "Was that guy that does the podcast?" And I says, "Yeah." I had to beg him for that T-shirt for weeks, and he finally came up drums at the Worlds last year.
That's true.
And you did. In fairness to you, you did come up trumps.
Well, coming up trumps, St. Laurence O'Toole smashed it at the All Islands, right? Smashed it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? First place and all that kind of stuff. Were you expecting the win? I know that sounds ridiculous because obviously he's a grade 1 and you would expect to win kind of regardless. But I know that obviously with the past competitions, the way that the season's going, it's turned into quite a kind of, it's went kind of the other way now with the way that the scoring's going. Just beat Field Marshal there. So we're getting a really kind of, it's getting a mixed picture as we're going towards the big one. And so I was wondering, that day, it came as a good win day for you as a band. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, both bands started off the season in Edinburgh with 2 exceptional performances by both bands, both pipe corps and both drum corps. I was really happy in Edinburgh how we played. And there was only, I think, 9 bands that played. And when we heard the results, as both bands were standing there, Field Marshal and ourselves, there was nothing more than there's something wrong here. Because when the Field Marshal band knows they've played well, and when the St. Laurence O'Toole band know they've played well, we know we're not going to be far away. Yeah. So there was a little bit of questioning going on. And would I blame the adjudicators? I'm not here to blame anybody. You know, it is what it is. Anyone that's in grade 1 deserves to be in grade 1 on the merit of the quality of players. But there was one band for me that was only trying to get back on the road after being off for a long time. And I have a lot of friends in that band. And we knew ourselves when we heard the results that there was no way was that band ahead of these 2 bands. I know Field Marshal just pipped them on ensemble preference, but to see some of the piping results for both of those pipe corps who have since, I would say probably Edinburgh was probably the best result for those 2 bands, because I think the fans of both bands and the spectators on the day have seen justice come through over the last 2 major championships, that it was the wrong result in our eyes. And that's not questioning the adjudicators, or maybe it is, because that's what we do. When we go in and we perform, we don't just go turn up in the day and play for 7 minutes. We've been working through the whole winter, 3 nights a week, and a lot of sacrifices have gone into this. And both bands know when they've done the work, they know when they're ready. And the proof has been in the pudding for the last couple of weeks as where those 2 bands are. And that the result in Edinburgh turns out to be our best result, because I think the reaction of everybody behind those two bands over the last month and a half or so has been exceptional. And the support we've been getting, and messages and phone calls of saying they can't understand the results. That's not disrespecting the people who beat you. That's more or less bands going on what they know their performance has been, and we as competitors, especially the pipe majors and the drum sergeants, know if a band is better than us or not better than us. And I suppose it does come down to musical preference to some bands. When the bands have good sound, they've had a good ensemble, it comes down to personal taste. But I think there was a little bit more involved in that, and probably the less I say about that, the better. But we're entitled to have those opinions, because I mean, we're the ones that have to go back on a Tuesday night band practice and try and figure out why the results went that way. But the adjudicators put their paperwork away and they go home and they can sleep at night, I'm assuming, and they don't have to get back on Tuesday night and explain and try to find out how we're going to make it even better. But these are two elite bands. And I'm not just talking about just from a grade one perspective. I mean, results over we had a bad season last year. We had a lot of problems that had happened in the band, with bad luck between illnesses and job changes and stuff like that, where we were a little bit under strength from the piping perspective. But we've well and truly fixed that this year. But we've actually got 11 women in our band this year. We've an influx of pipers and tenor drummers that have joined the band. And we've got a good representation from the female side of things, and they're bloody good players. And they've put everybody under pressure by the guys who were on the fringe or didn't cut the mustard last year, but played. These new players coming in have pushed the boundaries with guys to keep them on their toes. And I've never seen or heard the band work as hard since 2017. And I think what's happened last Saturday at the All Irelands, yeah, it is two bands, and you've got a very, very thin line between the quality of the two bands. It depends on what you like. It was in the south of Ireland, and there was probably a bigger crowd behind us to win the competition, but we played extremely well, just like we did in the last two majors. And sometimes it's just down to a bit of luck and a very, very good performance. And Willie and Matt and Free Marshall Montgomery have reacted really well, like myself and Alan, to that first competition in Edinburgh. And I'm just glad that it's come before the big one. We've got Dumbarton and we've got the Worlds left, and both bands have proved that they're very much in contention for this title. And that's great for grade one, and it's great for the fans, both bands, that we can go over now with our heads held high and not between our legs after the first competition. And put on a good show. So, and look, there's other bands in there. Balcon are obviously not changing. Yeah, go on, Andrew.
Can I ask a question, right? So see if you're saying we get a bad result, right? As a band, you get a bad result, and you're like, you know what? The Tuesday night after it that you have the practice, do you start to nitpick or overhear things? Or do you just turn around and go, do you know what? No, we never got the result because obviously for whatever reason, the adjudication never went our way. Or do you start to think maybe I should have played something more safe? Maybe that one or two personnel, maybe I should start looking at what they were thinking or doing at that time? Or do you just blanket? Or do you just blanket and go, do you know what? We're doubling down. We know we're good.
It's a combination of a few things. First of all, is we set our stall as how we want to play. The last thing you want to do is start listening to what other people think, because then it's not what you wanted to do, it's what they want you to do. So, and then you've got the middle road of where you have someone that wasn't quite judging on the day, but is an adjudicator and thought, to be fair, thought the band was, should have been placed higher. But I think you've maybe got a little bit too much harmonies in the last tune. I think maybe your opening tune was probably a little bit lacking in pace or in impact, where you're talking about tempo. But generally, we wouldn't sit down and we wouldn't turn around and change the format on what we're doing. We would take people who have supported the band and been good to the band, and who we trust their opinion of as to general feedback, and it wouldn't be reaching out to them. They would be reaching out to us to say, hey, I heard the band the weekend. I thought you were excellent. I didn't like the harmonies in the last tune, but that's just me. Like, somebody else would like that. For me, it was just a little bit too much. Or they might say, I thought the drumming was a little bit loud in the slow air, or I think your tenor drum was a little bit light. Maybe you should play a little bit more volume. Like there was comments made on Saturday about the two bass and tenor sections of both bands, and I think the conversations sort of started that maybe, Field Marshall's bass and tenor sections are very loud, but I thought yours were a little bit light. But is that in comparison to Field Marshall, or is that light generally? So we tried to, I wouldn't say we tried to move the goalposts to suit people, but we do believe in what we want to do at the very start. And we know when we go back on Tuesday night, the things that didn't go right on the day that nobody else would know. What we set out to do, maybe in a dynamic way, or maybe in a tempo way, or maybe we tuned up too early, maybe we peaked too soon. And that all comes down to stamina and weather. And anybody can have a bad day, reference not feeling too well, maybe dehydrated. We always will make sure everyone drinks plenty of water. But there's many things, but we would never go back on the Tuesday night and start trying to change things because somebody had it on the sheet, because all the grade one bands have good sound. Everybody has their own sound. Everybody has their own interpretation of what they want to do at grade one. That's why they're in grade one. And the more people try to core us all with the same knife is the more we all try to start sounding like each other. And we don't really want that, because you'd like to be able to stand there and say, Jesus, I love O'Toole's because the music they play is really traditionally Irish, or I love the way they play their jigs. And Field Marshall, obviously with them, they're known for their technique and their piping. But I think recently, since Willie took over, I think tempo has increased, and the aggression on the dynamics has probably is more extreme than I've ever heard. Yep. Like, we were probably known to be the most dynamic drum corps in the world, and we got criticised for years, even though we done really well. Like, I'm probably the most successful leading drummer in the last 12 years of world titles. I mean, we've six in the last 12 to 13 years. If you take COVID away, but Willie is really after driving onto his own there. Do I like it? There's nothing wrong with it. But I mean, it's not for me to like it. My job is to lead him. That's my job. And
see, when you're talking about liking it, right, and beating them, and the difference between liking and not liking, right? I'm going to fire something at you, right? And you're not alone in doing this. Backsticking, right? Playing backsticking. Now, I know that there's people that love it, right? And I know there's people that turn their nose up at it, or they kind of pull a lip at it, right? So I'll lay my cards on the table, right? I've heard Kerr McCollum get a bit of stick about his medley and playing the backsticking in it, and I've said I like it, right? Because I think it's trying to make things, it's trying to mix things up. But that's only my opinion. For what I can do in the drum, nobody cares. But I notice that you employ a bit of backsticking when you're doing your stuff. What brought you to that conclusion? Why did you think of it? What was the reasoning? Because people are talking about it, and I think, you know what I mean.
Well, so last year in that same medley we played on Saturday, we played a Steve Gadd Crazy Army piece across the last tune called what's it called? The Golden Chanter. And last year,
great finisher.
Yeah, when we got criticised by a certain judge about it changed the tonal balance of the drumming. Some people call it a drum head burst. Then somebody else asked me the following week, why did I put it in there? And my answer to him was, I can.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to display to everybody around the world that the 10 or 11 drummers that have my drum corps can do backsticking. Them lads can play backsticking all day long.
Yeah.
It's finding the reasons why you would do it. In the Golden Chanter, it's the second part is sort of up and down the top and bottom hand of the chanter, and the third part is all about the bottom hand. So tonally it changes, and we were trying to create the old low tension drum sound. And because the tune has a melodic melody in it, but there's phrases in it when you take out the notes and listen to the rhythms of the notes that are pretty similar. So it can be quite repetitive for a drummer to find combinations of those rhythms to play to that tune. So because it was on the bottom hand, and because the last part starts on the top hand, it goes da da dee da 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 on the last part. The part before it is the opposite way around. So I tried to create a low tension sound rope drum of a rhythm that would fit most things, which is the Crazy Army, and it's just a shuffle that we did throughout the melody to break the monotony of the rhythms. It wasn't done to show off backsticking. It was trying to use any way possible with two drumsticks on the same pitch drum, how we could create a different presentation for the finisher.
Brilliant.
Now,
so backsticking is
we did it last year. I was one of the first ones ever to do backsticking back in 2013 from one jig into the other, and it was only done for one bar. And it was saying the jig went from a top hand to a bottom hand start into the second jig, and I used the butt end of the stick to create an ensemble tonal balance. And it's funny enough that Stephen McGuirter done it then the year before last. It was only a little bit of backsticking towards the end of the medley. It wasn't turn the sticks down and play it right across 16 bars. It was a hit and miss and out you go. That's what I did in 2013. But this was done, and I had to try and think, how are we going to do this? Because the guys had to get from holding the sticks with the tip down to getting them upside down. So the trick was to put the two sticks together as you're playing, but when you put the right one into the left hand, was to let the left hand grab the right one and come back out. Whoa. So it was, and while they were doing that, I had to keep going the way I was. They hit a flam, crossed over, and separated them that way, and then they started playing the Crazy Army, and then the same on the finish of it. They hit a flam, and I finished the last bar of my own. They cross back over, and they go back in again into the last part. So
that is next level.
It was, yeah. Well, we thought about it. The actual Crazy Army part went for the whole 2 parts, but the medley was 15 seconds too long. So Alan wanted to take a part out of the finisher, so he took it out of the 3rd part of the Golden Chant, and I'm going, really? And he says, yeah. He says, we have no choice. And I said, okay. So I just said, look, at the end of the day, you know, I'm forever what you think needs to be done. I was just disappointed because we were going to hit the second part of the Crazy Army, which doubles over in the doubles. And we didn't get the time to do it, so we had to take it out. But I wanted to leave it in for a feature because the last part goes on to all these double paradiddles throughout the whole part. And then obviously the big finish. But to answer your question, Andrew, there was a lot of thought went into this, and it had nothing got to do with showing off. It was got to do with music. Kerr is now a young leading drummer that's been inspired by a lot of this stuff, and he's intelligent enough, and he's clever enough, and he's brave enough to try it himself, which is great to see.
Yeah, 100%.
The problem is people have to try not. There's a difference between liking something or not liking something and not wanting to like something. No, judges are subjective to when they're judging something that they want to find something that they don't like because they have in their mind who they like and who they don't like, not what you're playing and what you're not playing. It should never come down to that. But it's not that they don't like it, it's they don't want to like it, which is completely different.
Because here's a question for you, reference what you like and don't like. Now, I noticed, were you not adjudicating at the All Ireland?
Yeah.
What grade were you judging?
4A.
Right, so top tips, what is the kind of fundamental thing that you would you sit and listen to a core, right? If you start to finish, say for instance you come in, you get like first 3 pace rolls, second 3 pace rolls, a busted flush, right? Somebody over rolls or it's under like short, it doesn't finish it well. Do you persevere with the whole performance, or do you think from there on in, it's always pretty much going to be a negative.
Hard to move past
So,
that.
because you know what I mean,
Yeah.
if this is only my way of looking at it, right? I would think if I played and I went in and I didn't play 2-3 pace rules very well as a core, I would think there's no point going on. As in, you're going to play and finish, but in all honesty, it's surely.
Would you not listen to Field Marshal if they had an early 8, or would you not listen to Shots and Drycat if they had an early 8?
Of course I would. Of course I would. But what I'm saying is to an extent, you kind of surely know that your cards are marked. Would that be a fair saying?
Well, when you listen to the which happened to be 12 bands and 4A on Saturday, and it comes down to deciding between 3 or 4 chords, that's when you start using introductions to separate them. That's when you start using the tenor section, if it was loud, out of sync. That's when you start using is the bass drummer playing the proper 2/4 idiom, as he playing 4/4 to 2/4. You know, is the roll quality and the quality of the scores better than the band that was a little bit thicker? There's a lot of things, but the most important thing I think for the grade 4A bands is they are for grade 4 bands, that they rely on feedback. So when you're trying to put on a sheet, I'm not trying to punish you. When you are putting on a sheet, there's nothing more I would like to do is to stand there and have a good listen and watch the young kids, if there's young kids in the grade 4 band, or an experienced player that's not playing at the highest level anymore in with these bands as a leading drummer. Like you've got Barney there playing with Down Academy, and to see what he's done with the kids, you have to sort of switch your head up and say, I'm not here to, to watch this entertainment. I'm here. Your job is to find flaws in it so that you can give them the feedback, because you'll find your winner, you'll find your runner-up, you might even find your top 3 quite easy. It's getting the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the 9, 10, 11, 12 in the right order. Because there could be a pipe chord that has a top 6 finish, and the drum course between 8 and 12, and you got to say to yourself, you have to make sure you get it right. There's not even enough time between when a band finishes and the next band plays, because you're trying to get the sheet, get the stuff down, get your own little notes, and get to the line for the next band. And it's just constant. It's like a conveyor belt. Now, I did watch some of the judging in America a couple of weeks ago when they were using the tablet system, the audio. And I done ensemble in Donabate this year for the first time. And I know ensemble inside out. And I know what a good band sounds like presentation. I know when drumming fits pipes, and I know if pipes are going out of tune, and I know if there's overblowing, and I know if there's mistakes. I'm in a grade 1 band. You get to know all of these things, what to listen for. In fact, it's not a case of what they've done wrong in the band. It's have they done anything right with most of the bands. So that's a difficult thing to do. But I found that the audio for me after doing ensemble, whatever about piping and drumming, you can write a sheet and listen to piping, and you can write a sheet and listen to drumming. Ensemble, when you're watching 3 departments, I think the audio would be a great way forward for only ensemble judges to use an audio system, because the best adjudicators I find for ensemble, what is ensemble? Ensemble is entertainment and presentation. And the best adjudicators to listen to bands from an ensemble perspective and presentation perspective is the spectators outside the arena listening to the bands for presentation and entertainment. They don't have to write it on a sheet. They can come out and you can say, I listened to the whole grade. I loved that band, but I thought the other band, I thought the drum corps of this. They didn't tell you about putting it on paper. But an ensemble guy's got to put it down. He's got to put down integration. He's got to put out intonation, interpretation, introduction. And you've got to section all these ideas, and you've got to watch it and try and get it down on, say, a Mark Strasberg reel, and you're on a march and you've written about interpretation, right? And then you've got Strasberg, and you've got to go and write interpretation about that. It's too complicated and too gymnastics. You'd love to be able to have a microphone to say, good introduction, we're all here with a nice melody, a nice tune here, drum corps blending well with great impact, and just have a little casual walk around the band, look and visually just speak about them. But to put your head down and think about spelling and think about you're in the right place, because so many areas in the band, it to me it's just too complicated.
What's this audio that you're talking about? Is it that they record it and listen back to it, or is it you walk around and
No,
talk into a tape?
you walk around. You have a tablet on a wristband, and you have a microphone,
and you
and
make voice notes.
they have backup. They have backup tablets if that happens. But apparently, they've got somebody sitting there, and they can make sure everyone is live, make sure everyone's pressed record. They can see all the record buttons from the 4 judges that they pressed record. There was one judge didn't press record, and guy went into the earphone. And he said, "Press your record button. You haven't hit it yet." So
hey, it happens. It happens.
Listen, that happens to the best of people. That happens to the best of people, Stephen. Come on now.
Yeah,
it's a second thing. My God, I've made a mistake. It's human error.
Twice.
I'll get it.
Twice.
Twice. I think we need to give the drumhead some background here.
The only thing about the audio is, yourself when you've stood as I don't know whether if you stood as an adjudicator, but a band has come to the line and they've got 5 snares, 3 tenors, the bass, and you're standing behind them and you're waiting for a good introduction roll, and somebody overshoots the roll, and you say to yourself, "Oh Jesus!" So you have to be careful on that, but you'd never write "Oh Jesus" on the sheet. You go, introduction roll not quite together, right, or something like that, right? But if you say it into the microphone, it's too late. It's on record, so you got to think before you say. So, but I think
sometimes that's all you need to hear. And sometimes that's all that needs to be said to a band.
Just what a load of shite.
What about so moving forward, right? You've got the Scottish coming up at the end of this month. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I shall be there as a spectator. But what I'm going to ask you is, right, and it's slightly off course here, right? But I was just discussing with Jason that I went to the European, we were at Perth, and then I was at the All Ireland there, but that's a slightly different kind of thing. At Perth, I thought that this is something that really gripes me, right, is that the length of time that's taken to give bands prizes. So at the end of the event, you normally get some kind of low level dignitary type person comes up, then they say their wee spiel, and then after that you've got obviously drum majors, you get other kind of prizes that's going to go on, and then it leads into the bands. I just think that, like, as a spectator, as somebody that's trying, if you usually the meeting to veg of the event, right, the pipe bands, the actual people that are turning up, that are competing, then you've got friends and family, and then you've got spectators that pay the 16 quid or whatever to get into the actual event. By the way, I didn't pay to get into the Perth event. I'm just going to disclose that now. Somebody helped me get in. But the point is after the band, whatever grade you're in, right? So the pressure of turning up and kind of getting runs, having a run through, all the nerves, all the kind of G'd up adrenaline. You go on, you perform. You maybe hang about at the end of the day. You might get a beer, you might not. And then you've got to wait, and it feels like an age before they can get everybody presented with their prizes and off. How did you think Perth went for the old prize giving? Were you happy for the time?
Gambles.
I think that as well.
Like every match passed over the years, they got all the bands in one by one. Yep. Grade 1 bands play 6/8 after 6/8 after 6/8, and you were still gone out of there before 7 o'clock. Now we don't have that anymore. The bands just march in as one big band, and all of a sudden we're all in. Great, let's start the results. And then the speeches are too long. Salute from the chieftain. It's like as if all the small speeches are more important than the results.
Yeah.
And yep. To me, they seem to just, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether Ian Embleton is missed from people in fear of not doing a good job. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. Look, even the All Irelands on Saturday, people were complaining about toilets and people complaining about taxis back at the airport and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Pipe bands has not been the same since COVID, right across the board. There's bands gone off the road. The bands who have gone off the road some of the players have gone and played down in a couple of. That's why the grade 4 is so strong at the moment. Is that there's a lot of people have gone back to just having a bit of fun in grade 4. The highest level it can be so unrewarding, and even to turn up, like I turned up in Perth, and we arrived and we had nowhere to put our tent. We ended up nearly putting it in a tent.
That's right. Yeah.
right? And then the lads wanted to put some moisture on their reeds, so they went down and had a blow the pipe core. And when they were out there, they were grand. Nobody bothered them. And then I said, lads, as soon as they step in out of that spot, let's go out and have a little warm up. Went out to have a warm up, and all of a sudden, Mister Billy Bob Joe comes over and he says, "You can't practice here." He said, "You have to move." And I just turned around and I says, "You having a laugh?" And he says, "Well, you have to move." He says, "You can't play here." I says, "Well, where will I play?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Well, you're telling me I can't play here, so tell me where I can play." Because I said, "I'm one of the premier bands here today." I said, "I'm not coming all the way from Ireland. And you want me now to just bugger off somewhere where there's no room on top of somebody else and have a practice." I said, "If you find me somewhere to play, I'll play there. Until then, do one." And he just looked at me. And I said, "I don't care. I'm not moving. Do one. I'm not moving." So there was that kind of stuff. And then there was obviously the mass bands. Just the way there was people in high vis jackets with phones going around, making sure that the bands weren't drinking in the march past. And they were taking evidence because they said if anyone was drinking in the mass bands, they were going to be suspended. And it just makes people react even in a negative way. But
I think,
it's
I think to be fair, right? See if you involve like, many people at any event, right? There'll always be feedback that'll come back negative, right? But
yeah,
see the way I look at it, right? It seems like it's almost a punishment. The march past.
yeah,
There's an element of we're making yous all get onto this wee bit of grass, and yous are going to listen to us talk absolute verbose rubbish for the next 20 minutes or 10 minutes. And even I can't
here's one
even
for you, Andrew. See, the
what,
world's draw has come out this year, and again, we avoided the forced on scenario at 9 o'clock on Friday morning.
right.
So if you're a grade one band and you're on at 9 o'clock, the format is that you have to be there 2 hours before you play because you need to. It takes 2 hours to prep the band for one big performance. But then they have a rule that the gates, you're not allowed into the park until 8 o'clock.
That's right, eh?
So last year we were forced on, and I got the drum corps down there at 7 o'clock, and we were approached by stewards on the gate and says we weren't allowed in until 8 o'clock. I said, "No," I said, "I think that's the spectators." I said, the performers have to be in here 2 hours before they play. And he said, "No," he says, "You're not allowed in." I says, "Well, I've news to you." I says, "I'm going in." And he says, "You can't come in." I says, "Stop me. Right, lads, let's go." Walked in. So he went and got a supervisor, and he came over. He says, "You can't be in here till 8 o'clock." I said, "I'm forced on at 9 o'clock." I said, "And we need a 2 hour prep." I don't know who told you about spectators and performers coming at 8 o'clock. I said, "But you're wrong." So I says, "I am the entertainment here. The best thing you can do is get the hell out of my face. Right? I won't curse on your podcast, but I told them to get the fuck. Right? So basically, this is the kind of shit now. Scottish Power are forced on Friday morning. Here's the thing: he's got to be there at 7 o'clock. They've got a 2 hour warm up. They're going to play at 9 o'clock. The next time they play is the start of the medley in the afternoon, which I think is something like 1 o'clock or something like that. So they're not going to get off the field till well into the afternoon, and then they've got to repeat that on Saturday morning, right? Saturday morning, be there 7 o'clock. Medley starts, I think, at 1 o'clock. Guess which band is the last band to get the results after playing 300,000 6/8 for all the bands to come in? Only the grade one bands who were forced on the field at 7 o'clock in the morning, Friday and Saturday, and were last to get the results. The last time I was on the field, when we done really well 2 years ago, we had won the drumming and the band finished in the top three. And it was dark when I left the green.
That's right.
And everyone took their photographs. Everyone got their photographs with the sash. Everyone got the family in. And Stephen was Paddy last. And I turned around. I had two spare drums. I had my own drum. I had my daughter's drum. I had my drum bag. I had sashes, trophies. And I was left standing on my own. Everyone just got their photographs and headed out of the park. I came out to try and get a taxi. I couldn't get a taxi. It would take me with 5 drums and trophies. I ended up walking most of the distance until eventually I got a taxi. I got back to the hotel and it was 25 past 10 at night. I hadn't even got my uniform off and I hadn't even had a beer. So if people think that the grade one bands have it easy or the grade one bands are getting special preference,
getting the star treatment,
we are actually the freak show of the Worlds because we have to play 4 times. So, but look, we can sit here and be negative about the whole thing. At the end of the day, we complained last year there was only 3 majors, or whatever it was, or the year before, and then we 4 last year. Now we 5 this year. I think we're just going to have to take it for what it is and enjoy the fact that the competition is on and enjoy that, we can actually go out and defend titles and win titles. And you have to try and look past all the negativity on. Like, there's just so many stupid things. Like, nobody's allowed to bring water into the field at the Worlds because defenders want to charge you £5 a bottle of water. Like, it's ridiculous. We're not going to walk in as a grade 1 band at 7 o'clock in the morning with at least 3 or 4 crates of water, because in that heat, blowing your instrument and playing all day, health and safety wouldn't allow you not have water. You have to drink water. You have to hydrate. So I don't know where to get these rules, but there's so many other little things. But I think we just have to bite our lips at the moment and just try and get the whole thing back the way it was before COVID, and try and not knock the association, but try and encourage them and help them. And if
Steve,
they only took some feed.
Do you mean to say that before COVID, it was actually, there was a bit of service, or it was kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at its peak. BBC were there in full flow. There was just so much coordination around Georgia Square, where bands used to come down to Georgia Square and play. It just seems to have, since COVID, since you could blame all sorts. I think Glasgow Life have sort of taken the foot off the gas with
100%,
the band competition.
Yeah.
I think there's so much other money making schemes across the whole summer of Glasgow. And look, at the end of the day, if the association just took on board some of the people that have been around. I told Colin Mulhern on Saturday, I seen him at the All-Ireland with Bob Nevin, and he came up and he shook my hand. He says, I seen your post about the party, you're 100% right. And Colin Mulhern was standing beside me. I said, Colin and Bob, I says, I'm 54 years of age, and I'm playing as leading drummer in St. Laurence O'Toole since 1999. And before that, I was leading drummer at St. Joseph's from 1989. I've been at most majors. I probably missed about 2 majors in all of that time. So what's the 89, 99, 2009, 2009? It's nearly 40 years.
Right?
Right? That has to be one of the worst events I was ever at. So that's and I'm not saying that because I'm taking a shot at the RSPBA. But there's a problem. There's a problem. So that needs to be fixed. But we just have to try and, instead of just going to social media and slagging them off, they need to reach out to the people who have been around and see the changes, and even invite them to a Zoom meeting and how they can improve it and how we can help them improve it. But being ignorant and shutting us down is wrong.
Can I ask what you think of this, right? So I noticed this and I got it on my news feed, right? And I was talking to Edie Hoy at the All Ireland, and we were talking about a lot of rubbish, but one of the things we were talking about was the event and how it's organised and and the people that come. Now, there's a contest getting held in Bangor, Northern Ireland shortly, and they're going to hold the contest at the same time as the Flay, right? And I'm thinking to myself, that sounds like a good idea, because, right, you've got your pipe band aficionados, right, that are there to compete, and the parents or the friends and family. And then if you have the Flay on, right, and they've got their people, and that's traditional music, so it's not that much a leap of faith between being in a pipe band and liking the old Cayley crack, right? Aye. So I'm thinking to myself, that would be a good thing, would it not? I'd like to see this kind of thing where it was you get a kind of bigger influx into the park with more people, because obviously there are weirdos like me that would actually go and watch maybe the whole of the grade 1, right? And there's other people like that. But then there's other people that are kind of, I don't know, like assortment chocolate. They'll be like, right, I'm maybe going to watch this band. Or what they like? Well, they wear a green kilt. That's a bit mental, that, right? Oh, what about these guys? Look at their kilt. That's mad. It looks like an exploding chameleon. So what I'm saying is that in a weird sort of way, I'm not saying that we should be as competitors. I don't think we should really care that much about the public. As I'm being careful here, right? I'm not saying we should overly concern ourselves about entertaining the public. However, I think it's pertinent that we need to consider that we do want that exposure. We do want people that don't really know much about pipe bands to come to pipe band contests. And if you had a wee Cayley band bar crack thing going on at the same big
everybody's
park, you could maybe generate that sort of generate. Fire away, Stephen. Give us your pearls of wisdom, man. What's your thoughts on that?
You're right. I was in America last year at the Jacksonville games. I judged the Jacksonville, Florida games, and they had a guy playing banjo in the tent, and in another tent they had a Cayley band, and they had guys shooting the bow and arrow, and they had sheepdogs chasing these goats around the place, and they call it the Highland Games. But the point I'm making is, not everybody came in to watch the pipe bands, but the atmosphere that was created by having people that there was something there for them other than pipe bands created Highland Games, and that's what they call. That's the difference between a pipe band competition in Europe and a Highland Games in America. That they're using the little gimmicks on the outside to bring the crowds in for a whole day out. And like you talk about Highland supplies. Like we've gone to the games where you have this little tent and you can go in and pick yourself out a nice little brooch for your kilt. In America, I would say the retail tent is probably the size of Croke Park. It's massive. And when you walk in, if you walk in, the chances are you're going to get lost inside.
They know how to do it over there, right?
Right? Now, there's a lot of things I don't like about the American Highland Games, but there's things right now that we need to incorporate with that. I mean, last year we had, and this is where I started to defend the RSPBA. It's not always I would do that, but last year they got lambegged about, excuse the pun, but they got lambegged for putting a major on the day of the 12th of July, right? Because it was marching season. Right? And not one band from Northern Ireland travelled over because it was on the 12th of July. And I'm like, okay, well, I get it. It's a bit like having a competition on St. Patrick's Day for us. So, look, let them off. There was no competition on, no marching season on in Perth a couple of weeks ago. And the only band that travelled from Northern Ireland was Free Marshal Montgomery. So there was not one band across, not one other grade. But it wasn't on the 12th of July. So what was the excuse for them not to be over there on that weekend? So that's where they get attacked on social media about the dates, and they should be ashamed themselves. They shouldn't have done this. I agree. But no, they didn't put it on the 12th, and still nobody went. So I mean, like, what's the difference?
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, right? For this perspective, one, there's a massive cost to come across for bands.
Yeah.
So, and secondly,
you're going to use that as an excuse. You know, come September that you're going to be playing
I can't be seen on this podcast just to agree with Stevie Creighton, right? Because we'll need to change the podcast to the Stevie Creighton podcast, right? So all I'm saying,
sounds good,
right? So I'm going. No, listen, it sounds rotten, by the way. Listen, but all I'm going to say is, so to be fair to people, right? The first 2 weeks of July are like traditionally time of year as well. So I don't know. I think that, you know what I mean? I'm trying to give people a buy here. I understand about the 12th of July, and I think that they shouldn't have had the major on the 12th of July for people that are involved in the marching, getting themselves their feet. But the bottom line is I see what you're saying about that wasn't on the 12th of July and folks still didn't turn up. But I mean,
it's a bit weird that there wasn't not one band outside the Free Marshal travelled. Not one.
Maybe they knew it was going to be rotten. Maybe they knew it was going to be rotten. Maybe they knew
it was going to be as bad as it was. I wouldn't have went either. But I mean,
that's what I was going to say. Maybe they'd get better intelligence at the fact that the park was going to be like a quarter of the size of what they could have used, and they shoehorned all the competitors into a really kind of small space. And maybe they thought, you know what, it's not worth the ferry fare. I don't know.
It would have been fantastic for about another 15 bands to turn up, just to really show how much of a shit show it was. That we were all crammed into a little corner like sheep, and told just carry on there and do what you need to do. Like, you don't do that. Look, for all that aside, at the end of the day, we've got 5 majors on this year. We've 2 big competitions left, and it's hotting up to be a good finale to the season. So
yes,
I think there's some bands in good shape. There's some bands have not appeared yet. One of my favourite bands, Inverary, musically have great friends there, Stephen and Stuart and the lads. So they've. I wouldn't say,
just
they
talking
probably
about
put all their eggs
talking about
into it.
Inverary. Just talking about Inverary, right? The last major that I seen them at was when they get back from America, right? And I thought that they were going to be. I expected their performance to be really high octane, right? Because they'd been together doing the concert. I think it was in Chicago, wasn't it? That they done the concert.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to be like quite high octane, quite
ready.
And I didn't get that impression. I'm not saying they're no good.
Either.
What I'm saying, I'm not saying they're an excellent band. So before everybody starts sending me death threats, on socials, what I'm saying is I just felt that
I spoke to Stephen about it. Yeah, but don't forget they went over to America to do something a little bit different this year, and they made a few quid, which helps fund the band for uniforms and stuff like that, and fly-in players and all that kind of stuff. But on the other side of that was Scotland were going to try and stay in the World Cup at that stage, and some of the guys had to get a couple of tickets to go to 1 or 2 of the games, and some of the guys didn't come back because they stayed on. So they had a couple of players short, and the band looked smaller than I've ever seen it. But hey, if there's one band knows how to pull it out of the bag over the next 2 weeks, it's Inverary, and I can assure you they are going to turn up.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, they're definitely out there, aren't they? Like the Japanese sniper.
The quality in that band is just it's stunning.
Yeah,
I've sat in that company where they're like jukeboxes. You could just ask them and say, "Hey, Stuart, do you know such and such Billy Bob Joe from Edinburgh Castle?" It's a 2-4. Yeah, he just plays it. Like they're just And don't get me started about these tribute medleys, because I have my opinions on these tribute medleys.
Well, go and quick fire. What's your opinions? Good or bad? Tribute medley, good or bad?
What is a tribute?
You put yourself on the spot there, Stevie. You could have just eased it in the room, but you're like, no, don't get me started on that. And I'm like, well, you've brought it up.
I don't need anyone to twist my arm. I've always had my own opinions on. I feel when bands are going on social media platforms to try and explain why they're playing these tunes and where they came from and who they're a tribute to, isn't every medley and every piece of music that somebody plays a tribute to somebody that's written the tune? Like, I'm not getting it. Like,
it means something.
Years ago, you'd never see that like that.
But could you?
I thought Alan he should get himself on social media and say, we're playing a tribute this year to Billy Bob Joe. And if anyone asks who that is, just say, I can't tell you, it's top secret.
But can you know? But I'm trying to follow this because obviously Jason's younger than us, right? And what I'm understanding is this: is that the younger people, the younger generation, listen to me, it's the young kids and all that, Stephen. You just don't understand. No, but what I mean is I think people want more attachment. Like, I'll get an instance. Right, here a crack. This is the same thing, right? Talking about attachment. So you're talking about why people are mentioning what they're playing and the tunes and what it means and all that kind of stuff. Here, bear with me, right? See about 20 years ago. In fact, not even maybe as long as that, but see 20 years ago, right? See if I wore another band's T-shirt, right? And somebody goes, oh, do you play with St. Laurence O'Toole? And I'm like, no, I couldn't live with myself, right? I would lock myself in a room for another year because I was wearing a band T-shirt, right, that I didn't gig with. But now that's merch and it's acceptable. And people wear Field Marshal T-shirts. Not me personally, right, because I'm an old school guy.
What's got to do with tribute music?
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So it's attachment. People want to think that they know or they're getting fed information for the band that they're in on it. So by social media, folk are going, we're playing this medley, it's a tribute to so-and-so, or it's this sort of thing, and you can now be part of this journey with the band, just the same as buying the T-shirt.
You're in on it.
Me personally,
you're part of it.
I would never buy another band's T-shirt. That's my point. So the same answer. I don't really care for the social media trend of this is what we're playing and why, but people want that
attachment. If you were doing a concert in the concert hall and your pipe major come out and says, we're going to play the medley and its first tune is called whatever it's called. That's different because you're doing an entertainment in front of a crowd. But to go out on social media and every time you open Facebook, there's somebody explaining why they're playing this tune. I'm like, give it a rest. Like, seriously.
You've been hanging about with me. You've been hanging about with me too, man.
I know.
That's the cynicism right there.
That's it. The drum score's putting into that.
That's like me. He's sounding like me now. I'm trying to sound like the youngsters. Right, anyway. So we'll put the world to right. Listen, we'll put the world to right, but I'll tell you one thing. Put the world to right, right? I went earlier. I've dished out key rings to the Black Raven. I've dished out T-shirts to different bands. You know where this is going, Mr. Creighton, didn't you? I've dished out T-shirts, black T-shirts, blue T-shirts, key rings.
He wants a band T-shirt.
Just take it with me. Just take it. No. However, is there anything that you would like to get off your chest at this point in the interview? Anything to do with anything about giving and receiving things? Anything? It's up to you.
No.
That's move.
No. What do you want me to say to that? Like,
do you know? I don't want you to say anything. I don't want you to say anything. Right? I don't want you to say anything. But I'm nearly about a month out to the Worlds or something like that, and I'm like, do you know what? We're no changing our sticks now. We're keeping the sticks we've got because I don't want changing sticks.
Which are?
Can't I tell you what they are? I'm not telling you what they are. Do you know why I'm not telling you what they are, right? No, listen. They're not your sticks. That's what you need to worry about. They're not your ProMark sticks. They're not yours.
I see what's going on here.
My sticks are not ProMark.
Yeah, he knows where it's gone. Listen, he knows where it's gone.
His sticks aren't ProMark, lady. You know this, right?
No, I know it, but listen, I am not using anybody's sticks. I'm not going to mention who I'm using, right? Because there's a reason I'm not mentioning why I'm not mentioning these sticks.
There's no point in me giving you sticks, so is that what you're saying? There's no point.
No, just leave it. Just put it to bed. It's there. It's parked. Maybe for next season, though, if we're still on the go.
Tell me something. How many practices have you had since we last spoke?
We've got one on Sunday, and I had one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago.
There you go. 2 weeks ago.
2 practices
on a Sunday. That's right.
It's not drumsticks you need. It's a magic wand.
Whoa, sweet child of mine. Listen to me. The whole concept of the band, right, is that we're not pressurised and we can get people from all and sundry at ad hoc times to get practices.
Do you know that there's an American girls band coming over? All the girls are getting together to compete in Grade 4B. I think it would be a great idea for the veterans to play against the girls band from America because they're only getting together. Huh? You get beat.
We'd probably get beat.
I think you might.
Jason asked a question, right? Jason asked this question. He says, "See, because it was a World Cup." Oh, that's a good question for you. See how it was a World Cup. Jason says, "Well, what kind of bands do you think would be synonymous with the football team?" Right? So he said, "What kind of football team do you think the veterans would be?" And I was like, "North Korea." Right? That's your I'd say. We would probably be best in North Korea. Who would St. Laurence O'Toole be, Stephen? If you'd be a football team that's currently in the World Cup. So you're lucky. It's gone this distance now, right? So you've got like big hitters. But my point is I'm away, aren't I?
No, you're definitely part of the quarterfinal squad for sure. You're in that group.
I would say Argentina.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I'm liking this, by the way.
100%.
Now, here's a question, right? Me and Jason were like talking about other people, and we went, what about the field marshal, right? Now, this was way back as the competition started.
Yeah.
And we went, we both went Germany originally. Obviously, no, because
it wouldn't be true now because they bowed out too early. Right? Field marshal wouldn't bow out that early.
That's originally what we said before the kind of contest kind of started.
So very regimental, maybe very disciplined.
Yeah. So we went field marshal.
Machine.
Yeah,
I get that.
Who would you have them as now?
Engineered.
Yeah, 100%. Or you could say calculated.
Yeah.
Aye. So listen, they're all out there, but maybe we should expand this. But then people maybe get upset.
What band's your Norway right now? Like the kind of dark horse of the competition that's come out of nowhere and it's kind of taken on the big boys.
5, please.
5.
Norway.
That is a good Norway.
I feel that one.
I feel that, aye. I do feel that. Listen, I'm a big fan of Mick O'Neill, right? I've said that before. Mm-hmm. I do like his stuff. I think he's. But here's a question for you, right, Stevie? This is genuine, right? So, say for instance, I've got an amazing core, right? Stephen Creighton's like that. I think their core's brilliant. Right? This is like a top end band, and you're like, Andy Laird's core's amazing, right? That's never going to come out your mouth, right? So we are talking hypothetically, right? But do you think that it gives me, obviously, the credibility edge if I'm the top 3 or top 5 world solo drumming guys, and I've got my core, rather than if I'm not there front and centre at the solos every year? Does that diminish my operation as a core leader?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Right.
Not at all. Some of the best players and some of the best cores are only core players. It's not good. It does help a little bit. And I know you're referring to Mick O'Neill himself, who hasn't played in solos in a long, long time. And people are probably saying, why am I still playing in solos? The solos is for myself. I don't play in solos to prove anything. I've been in 32 finals. I do it for my own self-pleasure, for myself, just to test myself.
Just to hone you.
It's sort of, well, after the season, I sort of have my own time that I like to keep my hands going on something, just to worry about me, worry about my playing, worry about my drum.
Yeah.
I'm not going down to band practice and I'm not spent the whole year being a brother, a father, a doctor, a psychiatrist, a financial advisor. Yeah. The whole season there's been problems, moving the goalposts.
Wait, listen. Did you just say a doctor, a psychologist? Did you use that word there? Describing yourself?
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe. Dr. Creighton will see you now. I could imagine you if I came in and goes, I'm a bit depressed, Stevie. You'd probably be like that. Shake yourself.
No. You'd be surprised.
Oh. Would you be like that? Surprised. Would you be like that? One little day, man. Under my wing. Would you?
I read an article today about a certain person not too far away from you, Jason, who mentioned leadership roles in pipe bands, and I don't think he's the person to be talking about things like that when you've got so many other people who have led, managed, and successfully kept a group of players together, not just for 3 or 4 years, but for decades. If there's one thing I've learned about myself as a lead drummer at St. Laurence O'Toole's, is that my skills of managing people from all walks of life has got incredibly good.
Yeah.
I've got CEOs in my drum corps of massive companies.
Yeah.
And they have learned how to run their businesses through playing under me as leading drummer, through fairness, transparency, and honesty. and being there for everybody, not just from a drum score perspective or from a competition level, but from being a friend to them and someone that they can talk to outside a band.
Yeah.
I would say, even just take today, I've had a text message from every member of my drum corps, which has 22 players in it, right? So my daily routine is that they either reach out to me or I reach out to them, and it could be anything from a change in a march to could be anything from that to their father-in-law's after been taken into hospital and he's not too well. He's got a gout in his foot. It could be anything. It could be.
Yeah.
And I have to pick up the phone and have a conversation with him for 10 or 15 minutes every day. So my phone is constantly going. So I think to be successful in any organization at the top level, it's I'm still learning about myself and how to deal with those circumstances. I think there's too many. Willie is only in the early stages of managing his own drum corps, and he's doing really well. Can he sustain it? And can he learn from his mistakes? Can he, like, the person I am on the field when I'm competing is not the person that's in this house tonight.
Yeah.
It's a character that I've created for myself.
You have to
that
be
I turn into. It's a bit like a superhero.
Yeah.
That I have to be. So it's you have to be nearly inferior and you have to be nearly bulletproof from a lot of things that goes on. A lot of stuff I keep away from the core. They come over and tell me things about other bands that I'd already got 10 messages from probably an hour before they told me, because the person who done it or happened to text me to tell me. I'm like the go-to guy to give me all the information. That I could not go to a competition in Northern Ireland the weekend. I'd probably end up with 20 messages before the competition is over about how they played and
you know
here's
everything
our performance,
without
what do
even
you
going.
think?
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's just one of those things that's what I do for a living. It's my life. So, but when I hear people talking about us on platforms that didn't really hit the heights where they should have hit and pulled away when the going got tough, it annoys me a little bit. But let them manage.
It's so much
management
of the
skills and management.
so much of the lead drummer aspect is that, and not just writing scores and
Same as
listening
point
to music.
major.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
point major's role is the very same.
The results speak to themselves in that way as well.
Consistency.
Listen,
does mean this.
She's at roasting in this drum holler. I'm absolutely dying with the heat. However, before we go, right, because we're going to round this up, because
we've been talking for ages.
Maybe have. Well, we've been on for ages, and there's two things I want to secure. One is you're happy to do the Midway Massive on a Friday night of the Worlds. You still happy with that?
Yeah, as long as it's not forever. Half an hour.
It's 40 minutes.
I'm flying over, Stevie. I'm flying over.
Listen, he's flying over it, right? And the second thing is,
yeah, but you won't be on the field at 7 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning.
That's true. We'll look after you. We'll look after you. Don't worry about it.
See, Lord Alexander Kennedy, right? I need to get that score because I kind of like it. I'm going to learn it. Right? So if you could send me that score,
that's my Lord Alec Kennedy and Oily Ball is my most successful drum scores ever.
I think it.
Lord Alec
obviously
Kennedy has won.
Can I just I'll get a word of warning, right? I'm going to get a word of warning, right? After I play it, you'll be like, it's one of the worst Lord Alexander Kennedy's MD said. But
he's not giving it to you. He's not giving it to you.
No, listen, genuinely, right? I think it is one of the strongest Lord Alexander Kennedys I've heard. But when your co plays it, I thought everybody knows it. It's brilliant, right? So I wouldn't mind a wee copy of that, so I can try and.
Send us just straight away.
All right.
That's okay.
And
I'll send us just straight away.
Right, magic. Right, and that's about it because it's Friday night, and I've been painting and decorating. As you know, Stephen, I've done it in the St. Laurence O'Toole colour for the front room. I hope nobody throws bricks. I hope nobody throws anything through my window tomorrow because it's the 12th. But apart from
it's a little bit more feminine green than what we have, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, green is green.
So no, I'm calling it the green room because it looks quite good. I thought it's quite nice, quite calming.
I hope it's dry by the time
I have a question. I have a question for you two.
Yeah.
Who's your hot favourite to win the Worlds overall and drumming in Grade 1?
It's a great question, Stephen. And I'll tell you what, right? Drummond
Here's the
over.
deal. Here's the
Right.
deal. You don't have to give me. You don't have to tell me that it's your. If it was judged fairly, this is. I want you to tell me, taking all aspects of the panel, the form of the bands, and a little
Right,
bit in your heart of who you like.
Right, I'll tell you what. Right, I'll tell you what. In fact, I wish I'd got my pipe band predictor here on my phone because I've done that for the next major. But I think in the mix is, and if it was a fair world, I would like to see Fife Polis come at least third or second, but third, definitely third for drumming at the Worlds. Right, I definitely think they've got a great sound. I think they're constantly, for whatever reason, folk, them that judge them don't give them, I think, the plaudits that they deserve, but that's my ears. And the next one is this is for drumming. It's between you and Field Marshal. Maybe Inverary if Inverary brings its A game, Inverary brings its A game.
I think Inverary do it again.
Oh, it's a tough one. It's between the threes. I'm not going to say because I don't think there's aspects that I love about Inverary. There's aspects I love about the Field Marshal. There's aspects I love about your drumming. Right? I love your drumming. I really appreciating what Wally's doing now with Field Marshal, and I think that Inverary and Stevie have got some amazing stuff, and it flows really well. So I wouldn't like to say because at the end of the day, I wouldn't have thought that I got the feeling that I got for Inverary at the last major. But
the question was, who do you want to win? I asked you who
do you want to win? Who do I want to win?
No, I'm saying I'm asking you. I don't want you to say who you want to win. I want you to tell me who you think will win.
Yeah.
Oh, who I think will win. Right, this is for the Worlds. This is who's going to win. Overall, I think as a band, it's going to be. Do you want me to tell you the truth? I think as a band, it might be the Field Marshal.
Oh, really?
Okay, that's fair.
I think it will. I think as a band, I think they might win it as a band. Right, this is me now getting put on the spot. This is what I think the outcome's going to be.
Okay.
And I think, and this is going with the kind of sinister blend of results. This is not what I think what it should be, but this is my prediction is probably Field Marshal's a band. This is band stuff again. Second, possibly Inverary, and third use. And then as a drum corps, it's either use or Field Marshal.
Can we throw it back to you, Stephen?
Well, but he's not going to carry saying and chill it.
No. Jason, you have to give me yours now.
I think I think Inverary will.
You think they'll come good?
I think they'll come into their stride. I think what you saw in Perth was just a little bit of a hangover from from Chicago. I think Inverary do it again. I would. I would like to see.
I need your ultimates.
Go on,
Andrew. You have to have your say. Give him a chance. Come on.
On you go, Jason.
Yeah, no. Obviously, I have to put St. Laurence O'Toole up there. I think
you don't have to say it because I'm online here.
No. Honestly, I would. If you've seen previous episodes, I always back Laurence O'Toole, just because I like your sound and I love the tune selections you guys pick. It's rocking, and then I can't pick a third. I'd have to put my want to win in there. I'd like to put Manor Cunningham in there. I like the way they sound.
Oh, but they're great too.
Listen, that's true. That's true.
What about Bog Hall? See, when I said
Bog
that,
Hall as well. Yeah, Bog Hall as well.
the Bog Hall, and they got a second.
You think Inverry's going to win overall? Who have you got for the drumming? Jason.
It's either no. All right.
You gave your two. You sat in the fence with two.
I
need a pipe for this.
It's too much. It's too picking the favourites if I just go, same.
Oh,
Bog Hall.
This is good as well. What's in it for you, Stevie? Why are you putting this on us? Why are you putting this photo on us? It's like I feel as if I say it out loud and then it goes wrong, then good. But then if I say it right and then you'll be like, and folk, I don't know. What's in it for you? What's the gig for you?
Jason. What if Jason gives me his best drumming? I'll give you mine.
Oh, okay.
Right, go well.
Look, I appreciate you asking me. I feel like coming from a pretty non-combatant observer perspective here, but I think
No,
drumming, yeah, I think Bog Hall is well and truly up there, established. I think St. Laurence O'Toole again. I know that sounds like I'm kissing ass, but yeah, I'm just putting two up there because, and to be honest, when I pick my winners, I am kind of thinking because of the drumming, because that's all I'm really listening to. Over to you, Stevie.
because
Oh, sure.
I'm in grade one. This is not who I want to win. Because if I said that, I'd be saying O'Toole's to win it and O'Toole's to win the drum. But if I'm talking about who I think will win it, judging by adjudicators and form, there's probably four bands in it for the win. And that's Field Marshal, Inverary, ourselves, and Balcon. Going on form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Inverary are going to win it. Because I think Mr. Little and Mr. McWhirter are going to pull out all the stops to bring the band back to the level it was last year. They've got 4 weeks and they'll do it. In drumming, being bold, my prediction would be us or Inverary. Now, Field Marshal and Balcon, for me, are going to be not far away. It depends on which drum corps avoids the 4 or the 5 of one of the judges.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's going to have a 1 and a 2, a 2 and a 1, a 2 and a 2 across the board. It's whoever can avoid either 2 4s and a 5, or 2 5s, 4 and a 2 and a 1. It's going to be a bit of a mixed bag of thing. Now, that's not putting judges' perspective. I just think the form of the band, those 4 bands, and I'm not writing off Shots and Dykehead either. I'm not writing off 5 Police. I'm just going on previous world championships that I've played in, that I've won.
Yeah.
And that we are probably the best prepared drum corps awards you'll see in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
We know how to up our game. It depends on if the other, like the likes of 5 and Shots, can come with that group over the next 4 weeks and improve. Or have they peaked? I know we're going to improve.
Yeah.
And I know Inverary going to improve. Now, Boghall peaked. We'll soon find out.
Yeah.
Field Marshal peaked. I don't think so. I think there's a little bit more to go there. Yeah. But that's sort of the 4 why I've done that with them 4. And I still think the band competition is going to be won by Inverary.
Yeah.
But I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
It's just
and that's fun. The beauty of it. But it keeps it interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I'll tell you after Dumbarton who's going to win the awards for sure.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
We've got Boghall taking second at every event this year.
Yeah.
You know, are they going to be second at the Worlds, or are they going to all of those seconds over 2 days in all sections going to give them the first place when they're all amalgamated together?
And you turn it up just an extra notch.
Listen, I'm going to call time, and I'm looking forward to seeing the band.
Wrap it up there, for sure.
Listen, I'm going to look forward to seeing you over at Dumbarton, and I might bring you a new T-shirt.
I'll bring you a new T-shirt. I'm not bringing you sticks because you're not going to use them, so you can
listen,
go and use your...
I was honest about that. I was just being honest. Right, anyway.
You can go and use your Stephen McWhirter sticks. All the best.
Oh, hey, I like that. By the way, I don't mind these sticks.
All sticks are good. It depends on if you get a good pair.
I think they're not bad. Right, listen. Before I go down the sticks of the what sticks, etc., because that's a different episode. We might actually have to talk to you about that on a different episode. But as for the now, good night, everybody. I've got to get on and do some more kind of decorating stuff. But thanks very much for joining the show, Stevie. Pleasure as always. I'll tell you
Got a
one
bit of
thing.
crack.
You're always bringing a bit of light to the show.
Aye.
You're always welcome.
You're always welcome,
right.
mate. And we'll be seen shortly
for
over
inviting
there. And just
Right,
about a month.
Absolutely, Jason. Look forward.
Aye.
Might even get a beer this time.
100%.
Maybe I.
Not too many,
Mate,
though,
what?
because you got the thing next
Oh,
time.
crap. Right, okay.
Take it easy.
Catch you guys. Awesome stuff.
See you
See
later.
ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.